Alrighty. What is up, everybody? They said I'm late. I'm late by 2 minutes. They said I'm late by 2 minutes. But honestly, 2 minutes is better than the 5 and 10 that I'm normally late. I ain't gonna lie. So, personally, I think I'm alright. Personally, I think I'm alright. I think I'm alright. Let me just post this on Twitter. I just have to post that on Twitter. Alrighty. Oh, that's right. They got the Twitch recaps nowadays. 46 hours. Appreciate you, Abdi. You love to see it. What's up, Jal Potts? What's up, y'all? What is going on? There's a few topics today that we need to talk about. Am I caught up to Hunter x Hunter? I am. Don't worry. Hunter x Hunter, do I know Kosu the YouTuber? That's a great question, Monair, because I'm actually going to react to his video. Jackal brought his video to my attention earlier today. I found it interesting. I looked at his channel. I like the stuff he's doing. He looks consistent. Good thumbnails. And I'm like, you know what? Let me watch this Agenda Piece video. Let's see what it's all about. So we're gonna watch his video. Oh, that's my fault. Didn't want to do that. I joined my Discord chat by accident. But we're gonna watch his video. Where's the link? There's the link. Okay. There it is. So we're gonna watch his video. Bro, I had 1K hours on stream. Yo, that's crazy, Maj. I'm learning Brother J don't Zoro. I don't hate Zoro. I definitely don't hate Zoro. Zoro cold, bro. You know what I'm saying? Zoro that guy. I definitely don't hate Zoro. Definitely don't hate him. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, let's get started. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 8 of the Beyond Legend podcast. Today we're going to go beyond. We're not really going beyond anything. That's the funny part. But we're talking about One Piece. We're talking about the One Piece community. We're talking about the reaction to the Wano video I put up. And we are also going to talk about an Agenda Piece video that came up that I want to react to. And the title of the video is, Did Agenda Piece Save or Ruin the One Piece Community? Smaller creator called Kosu. The video's got 5.1k views. He's got 3.k subscribers on YouTube. And you know, I love seeing young content creators. He may not be young, I don't know. But smaller content creators really grind and hustle. As someone that had to do it, had to do the same thing. It always warms my heart to see people motivated to hustle. So yeah, like the stream. I'm gonna watch the video in a second, but I think I wanted to beyond the backlash. Yeah, let's do that. We're going beyond the backlash. And we can just talk about the initial reaction to the video. So I think from what I've seen, it's been a majority positive for the most part. I think I've seen a lot of positive comments in the sense that there may be people that don't agree with me, but at the same time, people have been understanding of my point of view, and they've watched the whole video. And if you watch the whole video, then at this point, I just thank you, right? I thank you for taking the time to watch the video, even if you didn't like it, even if you didn't agree with me. Watching the video alone means a lot to me, right? I put a lot of work into that. I put a lot of effort. There was a lot of planning that went into that. And it was a bold video as well. So I really appreciate that. So one, thank you to everybody that watched the video. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you to Morge and Roger for reacting to the video as well. It's always good to have the support of your brothers out there. So shout out to them. Shout out to Jam Mac with the 50 bones to start off hot, man. Oh my goodness. Shout out, bro. Starting the glaze already. Love your content, Jay. You're honestly funny and eloquent enough that you could be covering anything from sports to music, so the community is lucky to use your gifts for One Piece content. Jam, that's such a wholesome super chat. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate that. And you don't know how much that means, So thank you, Jam Mac. That's really sweet of you, bro. God bless you. But yeah, I needed to make that video, and the reason I needed to make that video is because I've spent so much time tiptoeing around it without getting my full thoughts on there. And I think you guys need to understand how cathartic it was for me to finally say everything I felt about Wano. And even there are some things that I still haven't mentioned, but these aren't things that I thought about and pissed me off a lot. So there's talking about the Straw Hats and some other stuff like that, and really digging deep into the Scabbards. I didn't really delve into that because that's not something that really pissed me off, because the Straw Hats have taken a backseat for the entire of post time skip. So it'd literally just be beating a dead horse at that point. But it was the comments. I would say 90 to 95% of the comment section was understanding, or at least provided thoughtful criticism. I always have time for thoughtful criticism. I always have time for that, because if you're respectful but you disagree with me and you present your arguments, I always have time for you. I always do. But if you come off as snide, disrespectful, attacking me personally, insulting my intelligence, disrespecting my ability as a content creator, one, I just know that's not true. I know it's not true. I dismiss your comment. I think I've grown enough now to where I can see that comment. It will bother me at first, and then I'll be able to tell myself, yeah, but that's not true. They didn't watch the video. They didn't understand what I was trying to say, because there's no way that you could have such a violent take towards this video and not watch the full thing, or at least watch the first 5 minutes. Because the first 5 minutes, I specifically mentioned that I am not here to change your opinion. I'm not here to convince you. That's not my goal here. My goal here is to share my grievances about the story, and then I meet people that saying, this guy made an hour video to complain about Wano. I'm not watching it. What a loser. What an idiot. You're not going to convince us. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Right? And there's a few people that I saw that embody that, right? And I want to talk about the community. And when I want to preface this by saying that there is a split. From what I've noticed, the YouTube comment section is really not that bad. They could be bad at times, but in terms of the YouTube community, they're really not. They're pretty okay, to be honest. They're pretty fine, right? They're not that bad. For the most part, if they don't like your stuff, they're just not gonna watch it, right? So from what I've seen, I definitely think that the YouTube community and you guys are great when it comes to this stuff. But one thing I need to talk about in particular is the Twitter community. And Twitter is toxic in general, so there's one thing. But there's a specific portion that I want to talk about. And I've been thinking about this, and I've been talking about this with Glam and Morge and Roger and some other content creators. And I think I've really started to so some YouTube comment sections are toxic, but maybe it's my community. Maybe it's my community that's just really the community that I like to have. We have a culture of understanding. We have a culture of memes and not taking things too seriously, right? But I've figured it out. One Piece is a 15 to 20-year story that most people have lived with. One Piece is a story that brings out emotions in you, and there's so many things that you can personally resonate with and attach with that people attach their identity to One Piece. People attach their personal identity, they attach their personality, they attach everything that they talk about, everything that they touch is a reference to One Piece. Everything. They literally shape their personality and their lives around One Piece. And when you do that, and someone has criticism of One Piece, or they have criticism of the man that created this brilliant piece of literature, they take it as a personal attack. They can't separate someone's subjective opinion of the story from a personal attack. And I've really started to understand that. When I look at your account and all I see you do is tweet about One Piece, all I see you do is tweet about One Piece. All I see you do is arguing about One Piece. All I see you do is posting theories and threads. All I see you do is rereading chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter of episode after episode after episode. Every joke you make is One Piece related. Everything that you make has something to do with One Piece. It's no wonder you guys crash out when someone criticizes the story, because you take it as a personal attack. And it shocks me every time. And I shock myself every time because I keep getting surprised. I keep getting surprised from this behavior. And it's I think it's just something that we need to address. I think it's something we need to address. And I'm going to say this as frankly as I can. One Piece is not real. It's fiction. It's not a real story. There is realistic elements and themes that we can relate to our real lives, but it's not real. Yamato is not real. Kaido is not real. Zoro, Sanji, Luffy is not real. Luffy is not a realistic depiction of a normal human being. They're just not real. There's no way you would translate the character of Yamato into the real world and that person does not get flamed every single day or mocked on Twitter. I guarantee you take the exact replica of Yamato, you bring Yamato out into the real world, watch these niggas flame her on Twitter. Watch. Yeah, Jay crashing out. Low-key, I'm low-key slightly crashing out. Low-key. But like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you getting so defensive about Twitter comments? See, Ramon is the example here. Ramon's the example. Right? Ramon is the example. So this is what I'm talking about, right? They hear me talking about something and then immediately it gets to this point. But like what I'm talking about here is I need us as a community to be able to separate ourselves from the story. You said a lot of people would have defended Yamato if they existed. To a certain degree, because I just don't think Yamato I don't think Yamato represents the trans community at all. I think Kiku represents the trans community. I think Bon Clay represents the trans community. I think Ivankov represents the trans community. Now, again, it's not really my place to say, so that's fair enough. But at the same time, Yamato's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is that we really need to get to a point where One Piece is not your personality anymore. And I want to be careful about this because I'm an anime fan. I go to anime conventions, right? We all cosplay. We all do impressions. Bro, I did a Blackbeard laugh screaming in my car. Like, come on, that's cringe, right? That's extremely cringe. What did Glam say? All right, well, Glam, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So it's just like, it's almost as if like, don't take it too far. There has to be a point in time where we can separate our love for the story and enjoy the story for what it is without taking criticism personally. You can't do that. And I think we're in a danger of making anime and the ideals that are in an anime and manga our personality. And the reason I mention this is because this and someone brought up a good point. The whole Inaki conversation. Like, I think it's dangerous for us to start attacking Inaki for the McDonald's ad when Luffy himself is in a McDonald's ad. Inaki's from Brazil. Why are we talking about politics? Why are we crashing out over Inaki doing McDonald's ad? Like, why are we getting to this degree? Because if we really wanted to get down to it, Oda associates himself with Watsuki. Oda is a student of Watsuki. Watsuki is a reprehensible human being. If you want to boycott, he's from Mexico. I thought he was Brazilian. I thought Inaki was Brazilian. Okay, sorry. Mexicans. Apologies. That's misrepresenting where he's from. Anywho, if you're gonna boycott Inaki or slander Inaki for associating and doing a commercial for McDonald's, then why do we let Oda have a pass? Why do we ignore that? I don't understand. It's like you got to pick and choose. Oh, Luffy. Okay, so it's Luffy that's Brazilian, right? Okay, that's where I got it mixed up. I was just like, yo. So it's like, my thing is like, if you're gonna stand on Inaki being slandered for doing a McDonald's ad, as if he just downright supports the entire McDonald's corporation. Or no, maybe somebody told him he should probably do it. Maybe they're giving the nigga a lot of money. And it's McDonald's. So it's like, if you're really that passionate about what it represents, what are you doing about it? Kai Cenat did a McDonald's sponsorship. Do you know how many people have done a McDonald's sponsorship? So like, to me, it's like, yo, we really have to understand, we have to pick and choose our battles. And this is one of the issues I have with the One Piece community, is that we love to pick and choose. We always pick and choose. It's a problem to slander Oda for anything, but God forbid Horikoshi makes one bad moment. God forbid we talk about Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, anything. Oh, it's free game. Oda's sick? Don't slander Oda, he's sick. Hunter x Hunter, another hiatus? LOL, Hunter x Hunter trash. Top cack, LOL. Are we serious? Togashi's literally never healthy. Never. We love to make fun of Togashi. We love to make fun of his hiatuses. The moment Oda coughs, y'all crash out. Pick and choose. Oda's sick for 3 days. Crash out. Togashi getting back surgery writing chapters. LOL, Hunter x Hunter on hiatus again. Hypocrisy. It's unreal. Togashi's lazy. He has bad art. Togashi hasn't been able to stand straight for 15 years. It shocks me every single time. And the thing is it's not just the One Piece community, because I have recently learned that the Hunter x Hunter community is basically, how would I describe the Hunter x Hunter community? The Hunter x Hunter community reminds me of elite whites that will see a black person that's rich and still call them the M word anyway. That's what the Hunter x Hunter community reminds me of. So let me not just pick on the One Piece community, because I seen the Hunter x Hunter fans as well. Don't get me wrong, y'all ain't safe either. Y'all ain't nice. Y'all not nice people. You're not nice. I've seen y'all. But I'm talking about the double standards here, and I'm in the One Piece community, so I just have more knowledge of it, right? I just have more knowledge of it. You can't single out people who don't live a life on Twitter. And, well, so you must have came in late, because I'm specifically talking about the One Piece Twitter community. So I started this conversation talking about the One Piece Twitter community. Reddit, Reddit are pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie. Reddit is hit or miss. Bro, I'm telling you, the Hunter x Hunter, some of them Hunter x Hunter fans are bad, bro. They bad. They are bad. Like, it is bad, bro. They are not nice. They're not nice people, bro. They're not nice people. Like, not nice. And then, because I was thinking about doing a community talking about the worst parts of every community. So, like, there's like, I'm gonna be fair to y'all, but again, I'm mentioning this. Don't leave the TikTok. I don't have words for TikTok. I stay away from TikTok because I'm scared. I am genuinely scared of the TikTok community, because there's something wrong there, and I feel it. You know what it's like? When I get into the TikTok community, you know what I feel? You remember that feeling that Noah felt when Pito was letting out or Pito or Proof was letting out that sinister Nen? That vile, sinister Nen? Every time I go on TikTok, I feel that Nen, that sinister malice coming towards me, bro. I start shaking, I run away. I can't do it. I gotta stay away from TikTok. I have to do it. I have to do it. There's some real dark, malicious Nen in TikTok. I won't go there. I'm not going there, bro. I'm not going there. I won't. I'll shrivel up. And I heard TikTok going away anyway. So niggas losing their bag anyway. Thank God. Because, I don't know, seeing them girls do this and spin around and get millions of dollars, yeah, I'm not having it. Sorry. Good riddance, TikTok. Good riddance. I wish I could spin around and throw a little butt and get me $1 million for no reason, but it don't work that way, does it? It don't. Yeah. Anywho, I'm off topic. Anywho, how is Discord? Discord just depends on who runs the Discord. Jay on his Cat Williams arc. Jay, don't touch children, please. I promise you I won't touch children. I can guarantee that, you know. I can guarantee that. Why is it so hot in here, bro? Oh my Lord. I hate how hot it gets in here. Anywho, you could do anything or put your mind to it. Yo, the Ritz-Carlton Jake. Someone clip. I forgot how behind you guys are. I just saw that. Yo. Yo, you guys are crazy. Morge, why are you even in here? Yo, what is wrong with him? Look at yo, he said, I don't know how to. J. Diddy Legend, we seen it. Yeah, I'm sure y'all have. But anyway, like I was saying, oh, I got some water here. Thank God. I'm going to give my thoughts. We're going to react to the Kosu video in a second. I kind of just wanted to set the stage. Someone clip Jay $1 million. Yo, shout out to the 99 from Young Smokey. What's wrong with y'all, bruh? King Ripzar, the toxicity, this fandom really reminds me of back in the day in Naruto fandom when Shippuden was ending. Yeah, bro, the Shippuden fan base was bad, bro. It was bad. Have you seen the Jello Apocalypse One Piece video? It was so bad, it was practically a hit piece. I have not. I need to see that. You be seeing guys cosplaying Yamato? Oh yeah, I see guys and girls cosplay Yamato all the time. Shout out to Tony69. Love the Agenda Reverie Wano vid for sure from Amsterdam. Oh, love Amsterdam. Always wanted to visit. Anyway, where was I? Anywho, the community. So there are, let's list off some of the people in the community that I just find, let me find the right words. Disingenuous. Right? There are people in the community that I am having a nice day, actually. Thank you. that are pseudo-intellectuals. Pseudo-intellectuals are the people that like to use big words. They like to talk about themes and narratives. And they like to say things like, how can you have a criticism of Oda when you can't even write a story? How can you have a criticism of the story when you just didn't get what you want? That's really what it is. Right? Oh, you clearly just didn't see what was going on here because it's obvious if you just read the chapters. If you just read the chapters, it's obvious. If you just read that, it's clearly there. So I think Glam, because Glam is someone that studied literature. He has a major in it. He wants to be a writer. He writes, right? So when he told me the difference between implicitly mentioning something and explicitly mentioning something, that's when my brain started to realize, I'm like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. So what we do, someone explain to me what this is. You see something that doesn't imply anything, right? But you take it, right? Say Kaido's looking off into the distance for a couple of seconds, and you imply, oh man, Kaido, man, that's a deep character. I wonder what he's thinking. You know what? It must be because he wants to commit suicide and he's reminiscing about how he couldn't be Joy Boy. It's so obvious. Just look at it. But there's no text on the page. It's just triple dots. There's nothing explicitly implied that's what he's thinking. But we guess. Be like, oh, that's what it is. Right? So they do that, and then they claim it as objective truth. And if someone who sees the same page in the same panel and said, man, Kaido didn't do nothing. What is he doing? Kaido not doing nothing. He's just standing there. I come to the conclusion that, okay, it looks ominous, but I don't know what he's doing. I wish Oda would tell me why he was looking that way. Two different opinions from the same moment. One says, oh, it's got to be about Joy Boy and Kaido's suicide, and he's such a sad, depressed character. And then the other person is like, wait a minute. What is he thinking? I don't know what he's thinking. You know what? I wish Oda would explain that a bit more so we actually know. But if I choose to think it this way, Oda never explicitly said what it really means. So now we're leaving it to our own interpretation. So when someone has one interpretation of what a character does, and someone has a different interpretation of what a character does, there are two subjective opinions. And you leave it at that. See, we got a bunch of dragons in the chat now. We got dragons in the chat. He's just standing there menacingly. But then you have niggas on Twitter be like, this is obviously what it meant. You just weren't paying attention. You weren't paying attention to the story. It's clearly that. And I'm just like, that's not, but why? Why would I get that opinion? Especially when the same author has made so many different explicit moments of explaining what a certain moment is and what a certain moment means. Or alludes to it, and then he'll tie everything in together. So there will be people that attack an opinion that I say is clearly subjective and say I'm not paying attention to the story, and then give me a counter argument that's clearly subjective from their point of view and say this is the reason why you don't understand the story. Two subjective opinions with zero objectivity. This One Piece Twitter community are literally world-class gaslighters of taking something that is subjective and calling it objective. World class. It's actually the most astonishing thing I've witnessed in my life. It's unreal. And this is why the Yamato debate was so bad, because there was nothing truly objective about Yamato outside of the fact that Oda said Yamato is a woman that identifies as Odin. Those are the objective facts. The other thing that's objective is that they use the pronouns he out of respect for Odin. Those are the three objective facts. The three objective facts are they use the pronoun he, Oda confirmed Yamato is a woman, and then Yamato identifies as Odin. Those are the three objective facts that we have. But now, from that moment, we have now expressed so many subjective opinions on Yamato where we're bringing in mental illness into the equation with Yamato. Oda never once stated that Yamato had a mental illness. I think it's implied that Yamato has a mental illness, but Oda never even addressed it or talked about it. So why do we get to a point where I tell people that Yamato saying Momonosuke, running into Yamato and Yamato saying, hey, I'm your dead dad, is not bad. And they're saying, oh, it's because Yamato has a mental illness. Of course Yamato did that. Objectively, that's toxic. Subjectively, Yamato might have a mental illness. Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference here? The Vivre card said she has her pronouns, but again, in the canon story, they use the pronoun he. That's something you can't deny. So if someone chooses to say he when talking to Yamato, they're just going by the manga. But then the problem is that Oda then goes ahead to refute that. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where the conundrum of that comes in? So then you'll have a video where I talk about Yamato, and then you'll get 1,000 people on Twitter saying, this guy can't read. Yamato clearly has a mental illness. Where? Where is that canon? Where is that implicitly or explicitly mentioned? Where? Because it's not mentioned. It's an assumption. So if we're going to make assumptions of characters and assumptions of the story, what does that sound like? Can someone give me an answer? What does it mean to make assumptions and subjective opinions of the story that's not objective and not considered canon by Oda? What is that called? I'm waiting for somebody's going to give me the right answer in the chat. I'm waiting. Somebody's going to give me the right answer. I know it. Headcanon. It's called headcanon. It's not agenda piece. It's agenda. And it's time to separate the difference between agenda and agenda piece. They're two different things. Two different things. Two different things. Headcanon, theory crafting, agenda. They're all literally under the same umbrella, just under different names. Personal interpretation, headcanon. Agenda, headcanon, theories, personal interpretation. All the same thing. Oh, I got a 10-second delay? That's why. Okay, that's why. I got a 10-second delay. All right. He said it's called comfortably being wrong. I don't have a problem with headcanon. Every theory we make is headcanon. Yamato has a mental illness? That's not explicitly implied. This is so toxic. Hey, listen, I'm just saying. Exactly. And then there's like a matter of reading comprehension. So then let's talk about reading comprehension. And I want to interact with, hey, yo, what's up, Recon? Shout out to Recon. Let's talk about reading comprehension, because both sides believe that they have the correct reading comprehension, right? So who holds the standard of reading comprehension here? That's what I want to understand. Is it the side that dislikes Wano, or is it the side that likes Wano? Who has the better reading comprehension? And I'm asking you guys here, because reading comprehension and someone's ability to comprehend what the author is trying to convey, right? That would be what we consider reading comprehension, right? So then who is correct? If Oda says, Jay, I need more eye contact. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because my camera's like right up here, so I'm looking up here, but then I'm looking at the chat that's right here, and I'm looking up here. So it's like it's a little difficult. It's a little difficult. So forgive me on that. Comprehension is in the text, more like media literacy. You think it's both? It's a Japanese story, so you believe the Japanese. So then people like, okay, all right, so I like the answer that you guys are giving, right? So if it's the Japanese that have the best reading comprehension, right? And Joe, this is what I've been trying to get the One Piece community to understand. Why can't we operate in two things can be true? Because if we're talking about reading comprehension, and the answer that you guys are using, that is probably the Japanese, the Hiyori moment, it's news to me. The Japanese hated the Hiyori moment. The Japanese audience actually hated the Kurozumi is born to burn. They hated that moment. But the West, there's some people that champion that. And then Oda brings out it's a matter of reading comprehension. You mean his primary audience didn't like that moment? And they're the ones that have the reading comprehension. So what does that say about us? They hated it more than us. You just go read the forums. So then what does that say about us? What does that say about us? It's like the Spanish community hated it too. Yeah, that's why Oden had to clarify Hiyori didn't mean the whole clan, even though it's clearly tone deaf. And I think we're all under the assumption. I think we're all under the assumption now that he only meant Orochi. I don't think she meant the whole clan. It's the tone. The argument is mainly the tone. Our opinion is the most correct opinion because we are the readers. Artist's intention is irrelevant. The art is the mirror that reflects what we believe. That's why some crash out. So that's also another thing I'd like to talk about. Right? It's like, why do we say you can't write a better story than Oda and your opinion doesn't matter, but Oda is writing it for me? I am a reader. Oda writes the story for the reader and for his fans and for people that have read the story loyally and religiously for years. So the moment I like it, oh, I'm in Oda's good graces. Oh, Jay understands the story because he likes that. But the moment Jay doesn't like this, all of a sudden you can't write the manga anyway. You're just mad Oda didn't do what you wanted to do. Which one is it? Which one is it? Somebody tell me which one it is. You're mad because your headcanon didn't come true. Oda didn't do what you expected him to do. I don't think that's true. Oda writes it for himself. I think Oda writes it for himself, but do you know why I don't really agree with that, Ross? I think he writes it for himself, but it's also I make content because it's the best way. I feel like I'm able to express who I truly am through my content, but I also do it for y'all. I also think about what you guys would like as well as what I want to do, and I try to find a happy medium between both of them. Right? I'm trying to find a happy medium between both of them. So like when I make content, when I made the Wano video, I was very careful. And shout out to Young Smokey with 200. Jesus Christ, Smokey, how much money do you have? Oh my God. I'm gonna read the super chat in a second, Smokey. I'm gonna read it in a second. The reason I make the Wano video, and I preface that this is not for me to change you guys' opinion. It's because I want to make sure that the people that watch my channel and watch my videos, that I don't disrespect their view of Wano just because I don't like it. Because it's not fair. Because they support me. They've been watching my videos. These are the guys that are liking my video, giving me views. Sometimes they donate. So I care. I care about them. I don't want to just say like, hey, your opinion is bad because I don't like Wano. That's not fair. That's disingenuous. It's not cool. So like, people was like, Jay, you're pulling your punches. What do you mean? Why are you being so kind? Why are you being apologetic? Because I want to be respectful to those that actually care about the video. I want them to watch the video. So like, I think Oda does the same thing. So and let me read the Smokey. So One Piece fans love to exclude people for having different thoughts. People got to realize Oda has always intended for people to always take things in a different way. In different ways. You got to form your own conclusions and not let the community influence you. You true rat agenda Oda story You true rat agenda Oda story only makes sense to me. Yeah. As a YouTuber, you do the same thing as Oda in some ways as well. I do. There's videos that I make that people were like, I didn't like that video, Jay. I think you were tone deaf there. I've been criticized for some videos that I've made and some reactions I've had. I have the Sanji Black Maria moment. I crashed out badly. And I told some people that, you know, I told them, I'm being open. I told some people, like, how can you be a Sanji fan and like this stuff? That was wrong of me to do. I took that reaction down because I ain't gonna lie. That's probably one of the worst moments I've had as a creator. I crashed out badly. I crashed out terribly. I ain't gonna lie. That was a bad day for me. It was a bad day. I had to learn my lesson. I had to hold myself accountable. That was a bad day. Nobody gonna see that reaction. It was 10:15. I remember, boy, that was a bad crash out. Yeah, that video, yeah. Oh yeah, it was 10:05. I crashed out terribly. Yeah, on that Sanji Black Maria chapter, boy. It was not pretty. You're donating to a Liverpool fan. He's already winning. Yo, Recon is funny, bro. Your kid opinion is completely justified. I mean, listen, my kid opinion is more personal than anything. If you like Kid, that's fine. But I hated Kid. It fueled so much Sanji slander. I disliked it for you. I disliked you for it. Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand. What was I thinking? I was just very upset because I just got tired of Sanji always being a punching bag or a pervert or a freak instead of the Sanji that I grew up loving. So I really just like, I lost it, man. I ain't gonna lie. I got sick of it. That was it for me, bro. That was it. And I got mad, bro. I was attacking people in my chat, bro. Yeah, I lost it. I lost control. I lost control, bro. I lost control of myself. I really did. What PL team do I support? I support Liverpool. Talk about the Kaido backstory. Well, I mean, the reason I made the video is so I don't have to talk about it anymore. Y'all know my opinions on the Kaido backstory, right? Like, y'all know the opinions. Like, I just feel like there should have been more, or there shouldn't have been anything at all. That's the best way I can describe it in a very, very short moment. If you want to know more, you can watch the video, right? I think the core of the discourse of Wano is people did not want to entertain the idea that the longest arc in the story and the climax of by far longest saga wasn't very good. And that's the case, King Ripzard. Like, that's the case. That's the thing. That's the case. For me, I think it's understandable of why you crashed out with Sanji. It's understandable, but I think the way I went about it was wrong. I can be understandable, Dandy, but like, I wasn't right in my behavior. My behavior was wrong. My heart posture was wrong. It was bad. That's just what it is. It wasn't good. Right? It's just not cool. It wasn't cool. That's why I took it down. It just wasn't my best moment. It wasn't my best moment. So we just have to we got to hold ourselves accountable. I'm not going to hide either. I'm not going to hide. So let's get on to agenda piece, because this is the next section that I want to tackle with the community. Because a lot of people say something that I've ignored for too long, and I think it's time that I address it directly, because a lot of people are saying agenda piece has ruined One Piece for me. And every time I see that statement, it makes me frustrated because it's wrong. It's objectively wrong. You are making an opinion of my enjoyment, me, the human being, saying I've ruined my experience of One Piece with Agenda Piece as if you live in my body, as if you know my thoughts, as if you know what I do. You putting words and thoughts in my mouth for public consumption and representing it to a large amount of people, and they run with it. It's about me personally. You can slander my content, that's fine. But when you make an assumption about me, I got it, bro. I gotta check you on that. You can't tell me that Agenda Pieces ruined my view of the story when that's simply not the case. It's a bad take. Agenda Piece is the reason I'm still here. Agenda Piece is the reason I'm even streaming. Because if I didn't have this, you'd get a chapter reaction and I'd disappear. And if there's a month-long break, there'd be no videos. Because I'm not making theories no more. I'm not making reviews. But Agenda Piece, I love it. I'm gonna explain to you why. But before I explain to you why, right? Your view there of what? Of Agenda Piece? Bro, we are talking about the Agenda Piece community we started, and that's exactly where I want to start. That's where I want to start. So let's talk about Agenda Piece and Agenda. Then maybe you shouldn't be a One Piece fan creator. I disagree with that. And let me explain to you why. Agenda has always been in the One Piece community. And if you think Agenda hasn't been in the One Piece community, you're either brand new, or you live in a bubble, or you're just being disingenuous. You're being completely disingenuous. Agenda has always been in the community. Agenda has always been, think about what Agenda is. Mihawk versus Shanks. Admirals versus Yonkos. Sanji versus Zoro. That is Agenda. Those arguments have been in the community before I was even a content creator. If you look at the prime days of King of Lightning, Rogers Base, for Neverworld, Double 4 Anime, Zoro Fanboy, Yonkos versus Admirals, Sanji versus Zoro, Mihawk versus Shanks has been in this community since the Worst Generation forum. It's been in this community. People have always argued about Agenda. It's never been different. Power scaling is literally Agenda. One Piece, I promise you, I'm gonna say this to you now. There would be no One Piece community on Twitter or on YouTube if it wasn't for Agenda. There would be none. I guarantee you, and I promise you, you would not be here if it wasn't for Agenda. Agenda has always been here. I didn't start Agenda. It's always been here. And this magical opinion that Agenda made the One Piece community toxic. The community has always been toxic. When I came into the community, do you know the jokes that they were making? Remember when Sanji went down to Nakama Island with with Ivankov? You know what they were calling him? Zoro fans were calling Sanji a transvestite. They were calling him a simp. They were calling him a pussy. They were saying that he needs to apologize to Luffy for what he did. He's a disgrace to his crew. That's not toxic. That's not toxic. It wasn't toxic then. Oh, but it's toxic when I'm talking about big business Kizaru or slandering Eustace Kid or saying Vista's stronger than Mihawk. That's toxic. But calling Sanji a transvestite in Whole Cake Island, that's not toxic, right? Because I can go back and find all them tweets, all of them. Y'all don't remember that. You want to know why you don't remember that? Because you live in a bubble and you didn't see what we saw. But y'all forgot about that. You don't remember. Fiji out here laughing and cackling. You was one of them niggas. You was back there, Rad Man. My boy tried Fiji went through a whole rebrand and escaped. A whole rebrand. Fiji know what he doing. He got the receipts. He was there. Y'all forgot. Y'all must have forgot. I didn't start ZKK. I didn't start Zoro kills Kaido. Is that not an agenda? Zoro kills Kaido was 50% of the reason why Wano was so controversial was because of a theory of people believing headcanon that Zoro would kill Kaido. Did I start that? Was ZKK not toxic? Like, I just don't understand. Like, so it shocks me that because I took the word agenda and I made it popular. I made the word agenda popular. I didn't make agenda. I made the word agenda popular. I made agenda piece literally another subsection of agenda, where agenda piece is more about comedy. So because I put a name and a title to it, everyone's like, Jay started it. Jay made the One Piece community toxic. That's what I'm saying. Most of these people, most of y'all caught up in Wano, so y'all just don't know. Everyone slandering Jay's agendas. That's what I'm saying. I coined the term, and maybe that's my fault. I popularized meme piece. Let me explain that to y'all. One Piece memes. Nobody was making One Piece meme videos before I came into the community. Nobody came up with creative nicknames for all of these characters. I started that because that's a gender piece. That's the joke. But then somehow people have said, Jay, your community has made One Piece discourse, has made One Piece discourse toxic. That is a lie. Like, I just don't understand. That's not the truth. One Piece discourse has always been toxic. It's like niggas never heard of BDA before. Yes, Jay, that's how coining a term works. Jay, you are not innocent. Take it on the chin. So what am I guilty of? Let me ask y'all that. What is it that I'm really guilty of? I popularized it. I popularized the term agenda, yes. So then the same people that were being toxic before took me making the word agenda popular and then tried to taint what I made it. Like, let me ask you this. Is Big Business Kizaru toxic? Is saying Vista is the strongest swordsman in the world toxic? Is calling Dragon a deadbeat dad toxic? Is saying Houston's kid is trash toxic? Low-key, might be. But then he got packed up by Shanks, and then everyone started calling him trash. So then it's like, oh, well, Jay, you're guilty of being funny. So then I'm at this point where I'm like, should I take sole accountability of my ability to make people laugh and use the word agenda and then take the blame for a couple of dickheads that like to taint that as well? Because then why should I just never made agenda piece then and just moved on? Is that the point? Like, I don't understand. I'm guilty of being entertaining. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. And like, for me personally, if I'm going to be honest with y'all, it's not fair. Personally, I just don't think it's fair for you to say that I am the reason the discourse in the community is so toxic when that's simply not true. The One Piece community and the discourse in this community has never been positive. It's rarely been a positive discourse in the Twitter community. Why? Because all anime discourse in general is rarely positive on Twitter. Rarely. I don't know. So it's like, I don't know. I blame you for the Kuma backstory. All right, you can blame me for the Kuma backstory. You can do that. The guild is using the term agenda as your brand since it only has negative connotations, even though you use it your use is self-aware and comedic. So the connotation of agenda is negative. So then let me ask you something, and this is something that I always like to bring up to people. Are theories not agendas? That would be my question. Are theories not agendas? What would you define as agenda? That's a better question. Are you genuinely stressed about this? Theory, I wouldn't say I'm stressed about it. It's just that I'm talking about it because I spend a lot of time ignoring it, but I'd rather address it directly. I don't think it's about being stressed. It's about having a conversation. So then tell me, this is actually, the delay is nuts. Yeah, the delay is kind of crazy. I don't even know how to fix it for real. But someone give me an example or a definition of agenda then. Because that's what I really want to understand. Theories use obvious evidence, the story to promote an idea, Jay. They use obvious evidence, but that's not true. Because it's not obvious evidence. It's evidence that you have to look for, which means it's not obvious. That's what theories are about. If it was obvious, then it wouldn't be a theory. For me, agenda is something that you're pushing for underlying intentions. Agenda is you taking your own opinion and creating a Hail Mary scenario. I actually don't agree. I don't disagree with that. Theories are just highbrow agendas. They are highbrow agendas. I agree with that. Yeah, we're definitely behind. Hold on. I don't know about agenda, but aren't agenda piece jokes just that? Overreaching jokes? That's exactly what they are. Agenda are just personal ideas and some turning them into theories. I agree with that. Agenda is headcanon that you elevate with humor and make the story funnier. I would argue there is a difference between agenda piece and agenda. That's where the difference are. Because when it comes to agenda, agenda is pushing a narrative based on one person's bias towards or against something. I agree with that. So like a theory is going to push an agenda that, okay, when I make a theory, I am insinuating that Oda is going to make this happen. Your underlying intentions are saying that Oda is going to do this. So you cannot separate theories from agenda, because when you make a theory, you're making a theory based on something you believe Oda is going to do. You have an underlying intention that's saying, this is the evidence I'm seeing, and I believe Oda is going to do this. If your theory is wrong, then your agenda was wrong. It's like people saying Yonkos over admirals. People use evidence in the story to claim that Yonkos are over admirals. That is agenda. There is no difference. Theories are trying to be more grounded with their reasoning. Yes, they're trying to be more grounded with their reasoning. When it comes to power scaling, it's a whole different story. And there is a difference between toxic agendas and well-mannered agendas. I agree. There is like nature when it comes to agendas. You can have a theory that goes against what you want. It can go against what you want, but it's also something that you believe will happen. Otherwise, why make the theory? And then we're falling into the category of headcanon then. People are taking jokes too seriously. That's the problem. I mean, that's just something you can't escape. What am I getting? I'm getting spammed with text messages. My God. The only thing I disagree with is the idea is agenda is only to be funny. Because for years, people have been doing that very seriously. I think agenda piece memes is much better. Well, that's kind of what we're trying to stick to, is agenda piece memes. Agenda takes on the phenomenology of your experience. An agenda may hold bias and personal perspective. A theory is a prediction. Agenda is bias or opinion. The negative or positive connotation is simply contextual. I agree. Humor is also subjective. What is Eric saying? I know Eric is saying something crazy. All right. I've missed some super chats. Let me get to some super chats that I have not seen. I've missed a few actually. My goodness. Talk about the Kaido backstory. No, thank you. I've seen that. Smokey again. When it comes to Sanji and Zoro, I favor Zoro, but can admit Sanji was done dirty. When I heard Oda told the Sanji VA he wouldn't look cool again, I was sad, and hopefully he fixes Sanji. I'm not a Sanji stan. I believe in Luffy. I love that. Also, shout out to L for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. At least archive the it's gone. Sorry, Sanji, bro. I'll tell you, that video's gone. The Kurozumi Born to Burn moment is the best example of death of the author. If Oda had to clarify, that means he messed up the messaging. That's also a good point. Liverpool fans, will Kuma be involved in Elbaf? I don't think so. Your community made agenda toxic. If we're being real, I disagree. That's not the case. We addressed that. Agenda is in every community. Dragon Ball Z and Vegeta fans wanting a win. Naruto and Uchiha glazing. Bleach fans arguing if Ichigo should be a Rukia. The list goes on. Ocelot. That's perfect. That is perfect. I think whether you believe agenda is wrong or not, or whether you like the agendas that people have or not, I think the real argument that I have is that it is disingenuous to say that because I coined the term agenda, that I am responsible for the toxicity of this community. I think you're looking for someone to blame because you'd have to blame the entire community. But it's easy to point fingers at me because I am the agenda guy. So it's easy, and it makes it easy. It's always easy to find a scapegoat. And what's happening is that there's people in the community that are scapegoating me for something that they don't like that other people are doing. They're saying, I don't like people are doing this, therefore it's Jay's fault. And that's exactly what it is, because agenda is everywhere. Agenda is in the entire community. But what's happening is because you can't just you can't find and attack every single individual in the community that are abusing the name of agenda. So it's easy to just pick one person and you're saying, you are the reason. It is you. You're not holding them responsible for their actions. Instead, you find one person that makes a brain dead agenda and then personally attacks people, and you're saying, this is a result of Jay. This is Jay's fault. Jay ruined the community. You are responsible for the discourse in this community. And I'll be honest with you, it's not fair. I don't think it's fair. Personally, I just don't think it's fair. And the sooner people realize that you're using me as a scapegoat, the easier it's going to be for you to realize that this is just a community. Because think about the My Hero community. Think about the shippers. Is shipping not an agenda? Oh my God, the Sakura and Naruto and Naruto and Hinata shippers, one of the worst creatures I've ever seen in my life. The shippers in the My Hero community, genuinely creatures of the night. Creatures of the night. They should be locked away. I feel like you're only addressing a small vocal minority. I agree with you, and I mentioned that. But you have to understand that some of this vocal minority are people that I considered friends. There are some people that I have considered friends that are starting to say this. I'm also seeing that someone will make a large post about that, and you'll see hundreds and thousands of people all agree and follow the same thing. And the only reason I even know about this is because people in my Discord will tell me about it. They will tell me and then they'll blame me. And what happens is once people find a scapegoat, don't be surprised because that spreads like a wildfire. The moment you can find one person to blame for an epidemic in the entire community, people are going to run with it without thinking. And that's what's dangerous. Nah, a lot of your fans just repeat everything you say and take it to another level of toxic that you didn't intend. How do you know these guys are my fans? That's my question. So you want to squash it before it becomes bigger? Well, yes. Because nobody, imagine, right? Imagine, for an example, right? Say Usopp does something bad, right? And he does something bad in Elbaf and he doesn't get his moment. And because I slandered Usopp and told him that he should pick up a gun and said, Usopp, put the slingshot down. At the end of the day, I know Usopp's not going to pick up a gun. He's just not going to do it. It's not in his character. So it's more tongue-in-cheek. We make the Usopp memes. Ha ha ha. It's really funny. I would like Usopp to actually do something. We made fun of Robin for years until the Black Maria moment. We had that. Usopp does something bad. The entire community starts slandering Usopp, right? Although I'm not the only one that made the joke about Usopp, but everyone's going to point to me because I made the joke about Usopp. Everyone. And that's how it works. I will be the scapegoat. And again, that's fine because that's what you sign up for as a content creator. You kind of sign up for it. You sign up for it. So it's like, I'm not going to sit there and complain. But when it becomes a point where I'm being blamed for every single toxic behavior in the community and the discourse of the community being toxic, that's when we're not being fair. I'll tell you this. Y'all can blame me for kid slander. I'll actually just wear that. That's fine. Y'all can take me for chopper slander. Those two, you blame me for the discourse and kid, and you blame me for the discourse and chopper, I'll eat that. That's fine. I'm just going to eat it. I'm like, that's especially kid. I didn't pull my punches with kid. I can take that. Low-key, I might even take the dragon slander. I might, you know what I'm saying? I might actually just accept that. For real. Because kid broke my heart, so I crashed out. Kid hurt me, bro. It was a different story. He said, but the kid slander valid? But there's people that like kid out there. Kid slander is everywhere. Okay, but I've championed kid. I ain't gonna lie. I championed kid slander and I went out of my way to. I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat the kid slander. I can take that. I can accept that. You need to go to Akainu Defense School? Nah, Brago's Akainu Defense School is crazy. Brago is crazy, bruh. Blame Oda for kid slander? I guess we could. All right. It's already been an hour. So these podcast episodes are not supposed to be that long, but sometimes it will be. He said the dragon slander? Yeah. I made a once I make a is trash video, like dragon is trash, kid is trash, like, yeah, that's fine. Oh no, I think I made dragon is a fraud. He said you were doing God's work. Y'all are funny. Some people weaponize their audience and some just chill. That's true. Kid had everybody fooled? Yeah. Whether it's anime, Game of Thrones, WWE, football, or NBA, every community has a certain agenda integrate. So I agree. We blame you for the Obama Garp thing. Eric, is that your burner? Who is that? Are you know what? See, that's a disciple of Eric. I knew it. That's an Eric. That's a Red Force podcast watcher. That's what it is. Etu Gob. Yeah, that's an Eric clone. Only Eric has never let that go. I don't know. I know who you are. I'm on to you. But Recon, I agree. And that's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like Agenda has ruined the community, because Agenda has never not been in our community. That's when it's disingenuous. He said Eric Sama. I knew it, bro. I knew it. The biggest scapegoat was Jesus? Oh, you're right about that. But I'm nowhere near him. He built different. I have no idea what's happening. I like the funny memes. I like the funny memes too, man. They're great. Glam, I've had enough. Okay, so I think now is a good time to watch this Kosu video. I think now is a great time to watch this Kosu video, right? So this is, let me take the chat, move it up a bit. So this is his take. If you guys want to support Kosu, subscribe to him on YouTube. We're going to see his video. Let's see what his take is on Agenda Piece, because I think he recently joined the community. So let's take a look at this.
In recent years, the One Piece community has decided to adopt a different way of looking at the story. Now, a lot of people do know what it is, but if you don't know what it is, it's agenda. And as of right now, this is actually a really hot topic, as a lot of people do believe that Agenda Piece has just straight up ruined the fandom, while a lot think that it's good for the fandom and keeps it alive. And since I've built a little bit of my channel for it, I've decided to go back to it to really find out if it is bad for the community or if it's good for the community. But before I get into the video, if you guys enjoy content like this, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe, as I do upload content like this regularly, and to be honest, it is a win-win. You guys show support and I give it back to you.
Yo, first of all, let's talk. Why's he got so he's definitely from the ends, but why? Look at the way Diddy looking at Meek Mills, bro. Y'all see that? Why he got Diddy looking at Meek Mills like that? Why is that? What's the plan here? Why Diddy looking like that? Hold on, look at Diddy, bro.
Here's the video. If you guys enjoy
look at Diddy, hold on.
You know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe, as I do upload content like this regularly. And to be honest, it is a win-win. You guys show support and I give back to you in the form of videos, whether it's One Piece, other anime, or just fiction in general. In due time, I plan on covering it, so be there when I go there. But that's enough of my rambling. When I get into the video and truly find out whether Agenda Piece was good for the One Piece fandom or bad for the One Piece fandom. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to clarify a few things. I'll be looking at both sides objectively, and yes, this video is unscripted, but don't worry, I have bullet points, so it's not going to be completely random on what I cover. This is going to be more of a discussion type of video, so I want you guys to be very interactive with this one, because that's what this video is made for. This video was made for me to sit down and just us as a community, we can come together and really work out if it's really good for our community or not. Yeah, with that being said, why not I just get into the video? Now, first of all, I want to give you a brief timeline and rundown on how Agenda Piece came about, or just how it just spawned or just became this massive thing. Now, I joined the One Piece community as the Rooftop started. So chapter 1000, I was there.
Right? So this is another example of what many people were saying in the chat, that most of these new One Piece fans have come around Wano. So this is someone that has not been, that missed a good 3 to 6 year chunk of the community. He wasn't there for the Brago streams, the Cole streams, the Roger streams. He missed a massive chunk of the community. And this is where I see, like, this is where I think people are missing it. Like, they don't got skin in the game. It's like talking about hip hop without understanding African Bambaataa or Funk Master Flex. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to you know what I'm saying? He missed 8 years of the entire community.
There. Ever since then, obviously things have developed and whatnot, and I feel like the first part of Agenda Piece that you could say we did get was with Sanji's moment. Now, with Sanji's moment, I don't feel like... Do
you see what I'm saying? The first part of Agenda Piece that we get is Sanji's moment. That's not true. Agenda Piece started with ZKK. We're talking about Agenda Piece, not agenda. We're talking about Agenda Piece. Two different things. Agenda Piece started with ZKK. That's where it really, nah. Okay.
Agenda Piece spawned like directly from it. But I want to say that Wano, especially the Onigashima raid, was where Agenda Piece began to grow. It wasn't obviously as big as it is now, but it was in its infant stages. And everybody that was there would know about it and would know how people would obviously make jokes, but it didn't have the title agenda piece. People didn't even really call it agenda like that. It was just more us making jokes. And so from this, agenda piece was birthed, but it wasn't really a mainstream thing or just something that we all talked about as we do today. Where it really started to kick in was when Green Bull arrived at Wano, and I feel like this is where agenda piece really did begin to pick up. And I just want to mention that there are obviously a few YouTubers here that obviously did boost it as well. Obviously JD Legend being probably the pioneer.
I haven't used this Avi. Fascinating. 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 That's fascinating. He thought it started with Green Bull. Oh man. Yeah. He thought it started with Green Bull. The pioneer. I mean, cold pioneering, right? Like I'll take pioneer for real. But let's speed this up a little bit. Let's speed this up. Let's go back.
Raid was where agenda piece began to grow. It wasn't obviously as big as it is now, but it was in its infant stages. And everybody that was there would know about it and would know how people obviously make jokes, but it didn't have the title agenda piece. People didn't even really call it agenda like that. It was just more us making jokes. And so from this, agenda piece was birthed, but it wasn't really a mainstream thing or just something that we all talked about as we do today. Where it really started to kick in was when Green Bull arrived at Wano, and I feel like this is where agenda piece really did begin to pick up. And I just want to mention that there are obviously a few YouTubers here that obviously did boost it as well. Obviously JD Legend being probably the pioneer for it, as he is the one that I feel like everybody was like, yeah, he coined it and gave it the name. So around here is when things started being made like fan art. And I remember when the Green Bull fan art came out, and obviously you had Shanks whisper in his ear. If I can find that fan art, I'm just gonna put it up on screen. But when you had stuff like this coming around, it was like, yeah, this is something that we can talk about that can keep our spirits just alive. And during this time, obviously when Green Bull had that little paralysis thing going on and whatnot, and after that, we were on a month or like 2 month break, and agenda piece is what kept us alive. Agenda piece is what kept us around, and that was when it was a really good thing, because back then it was like, yeah, we used to make memes and jokes and everything, and with agenda piece just coming around, what people would do is they'll go back inside the story, look and see what they can twist and turn and to make things like a different way. And I remember all throughout that month I was talking on different platforms and whatnot, different servers on, like, I used to scroll on Twitter and whatnot, and just everything about the experience back then felt more natural, felt more like positive, because everybody knew it was a joke. Even during Wano, when people were making jokes, like obviously ZKK was an agenda. You had all these different things that were agendas and everything, like, and as I said, during the Onigashima raid, it was more of like a baby to what it is now. And so it's like, when you see all these different things, when it was growing, it was more natural, and everybody that was involved with it knew it was a joke. And so when Egghead arrived, Egghead is where agenda piece took that massive step, and agenda piece became so big to the point where other series were taking what agenda piece was doing and was applying it to its series. Jujutsu Kaisen is the biggest benefactor of this, and it's something I'm going to explain later on inside the video. But yes, it was affecting other fandoms. That is how big agenda piece got, and it was all just because we wanted to make jokes about One Piece and wanted to just explore it in a different way. Since we all know, well,
why is it doing that?
You know what? I think jokes about One Piece and wanted to just explore it in a different way, since we all know, well, majority of the One Piece fans, I'm going to get into it a little bit later, but majority of the One Piece fans that actually can view the story with just like a straightforward mindset and know what Oda was trying to portray to us, we knew what Oda was trying to say. So it was like, you know, why don't we just misinterpret it on purpose and say, nah, this is what really happened? And people were making jokes out of it, people obviously giving points on it, and that's just how it was. But at the end of the day, everybody knew what the story was and what was going to happen inside the story. Obviously ZKK, that was a little tell into some of the delusional sides, and some of the sides that people were like, oh no, but it should have happened, and oh, this, like, oh, this bad guys didn't cover this and whatnot. And
yeah, I took it off all
that is obviously a sprinkle into what was about to happen for One Piece. But for right now, One Piece was just literally like agenda piece was just something fun for us to just talk about and just do. Making fan arts every week, making silly little jokes, making like joke manga panels where you have Sanji going up against Katakuri.
Yo, this panel is crazy. Yo, this panel is crazy, bro. Yo. This is what agenda piece is all about. Panels like this. Look at Sanji actually kicking Katakuri, dog. Like, yo. Oh my God, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's really funny, dog. That is. They say, yo, this is a canon panel. This panel is canon. What do you mean?
You had Zoro going up against Sanji, or you had like Zoro cutting off Kaido's head, or you just all these different things. We used to make way too many jokes. Not way too many, but we used to make a lot of jokes that were just natural and funny because that is what it's about. Agenda Piece is about having fun and just saying the most random stuff, but we're not meaning it. And so since the start of
That's
Egghead
exactly what it's supposed to be.
In Elbaf, I've seen Agenda Piece quite literally decay in front of my eyes. And the reason I say decay is because Agenda Piece right now is not what it was in the beginning, and this is something that I now want to talk about. The positives of Agenda was about having fun and misinterpreting the story on purpose, not because you want to misinterpret the story. No, we did this on purpose. And so now when you now look at all these different things and it's like people are actually believing the agendas, it's like you're ruining the fun. And I now want to talk about other agendas and stuff that were pretty good. Like obviously you had the Shanks rap meme, you have the Mio painting his sword. These things were all just like, it felt so organic because these are things that we could actually just joke about and people would know that they're joking. But then as time has gone on and as we've gained a new sort of fan base, not new fan base, but the fan base obviously is expanded. Not everybody from the like back in the day is going to be running it and whatnot. We're going to have new faces pop up here and there. And so when you have all these new different faces and they're taking Agenda Piece a different way because that's all they know, and they're like, oh yeah, Agenda Piece, you do this, so let's follow on and let's hop on that bandwagon. I don't really feel like they know what they're talking about. Before I delve into the negative side of it, I also want to talk about why Agenda Piece was so prevalent throughout Egghead. And that is mainly because Oda has been on so many breaks to the point where we have been forced to rely on Agenda Piece. Agenda Piece was a pivotal part of Egghead from like the fan base's standpoint. A lot of the memes that were created throughout Egghead, like I don't know, Zoro and Lucci and whatnot, and it's all these different things. It's like these are just things that we had to rely upon because Oda was on so many breaks during Egghead to the point
back
where
in the
he
day
literally made meme after.
This man said back in the day, but he started in chapter 1000, bruh. What? That's crazy, bruh. He's talking about the new fans. He's got to be. Oh, I know back in the day, bruh. Yo, okay.
After meme, and obviously as time is going on, Oda's on a lot of breaks, and this allows people to catch up. And when
who got Kid Scrub, Chief, Kid fa, I'm done, bruh. What does this mean? I'm done, bruh. Yo.
People are coming into the fandom and they're seeing these different memes and whatnot. That's what they're going to consume. And then when you have Oda going on break so much, and when he gives us a chapter that didn't soothe the Agenda Piece mindset in a lot of people are now calling the chapter mid, instead of actually understanding and appreciating what Oda was trying to give us. Egghead was a beautiful arc that I feel like the fandom as a whole doesn't appreciate as much. People see it for the hype moments and whatnot, but I feel like people need to go back and reread it just overall to see what Egghead is. Egghead was a beautiful arc, and people don't really see that because a lot of people only read it once and they don't go back to
what people think Egghead wasn't. As far as I'm concerned, the consensus is Egghead is the best arc in post-time skip. What? I've heard of people that don't like Egghead, but if we're talking about the majority, I'd say 80 to 90% of people love Egghead. The girls say you're trash. That's fine. That's a different story. People on Twitter, they hate Egghead? This is how I know I'm not on One Piece Twitter no more, bro. This how excuse me. This is how I know I'm not on One Piece Twitter no more. That's how I know. That must be what it is. That's how I know.
To it, and that's fair because I mean, look, not everybody has time to sit down and be like, okay, let me go reread this, let me go reread that. No, a lot of people just want to be like, okay, I'm reading it once, reading it weekly, and that's it. And as you just heard, I said weekly consumption has finished this fandom, and it's mainly because One Piece is a story that, in my opinion and many others' opinions that go back and reread it's something you are meant to digest in one whole sort of sitting.
No,
it's not something that you're meant to read.
No, it's a bad take. I don't like when people say that. It's not true. It's a week-to-week manga. They design it to be week-to-week. That's not true. That's not true. I don't like it when people say One Piece is better in a binge. That's not the truth. It's made for a weekly audience. Maybe that's a hot take from me, but I disagree with that. It's made for volumes. It's just not true. It's not true. It's made to be read in volumes. If it's made to be read in volumes, then when you read 10 One Piece chapter, you wait 3 months before reading. That's what I'm saying. Volumes are only 10 chapters. That's not a binge. Reading in volumes is not a binge. That's 10 chapters. That's still not a binge. That's like saying Spider-Man, which comes out in weekly issues, is created to be read in a binge. I don't know, man. I don't know, bruh. I don't know, bruh.
Weekly in my eyes, because Oda drops things here and there, and it's like every week you're like, okay, well, I mean, this wasn't really fulfilling. But when you go back and reread it, you're like, okay, I see what he's doing here, and he does this for every arc. I'm telling you, people that were reading Dressrosa back in the day will say the exact same thing. People that were reading Whole Cake Island will say the exact same thing, and I'm pretty sure people back in the day that were reading all these like other things like Annie's Lobby and whatnot, Thriller Bark will say the exact same thing. Oda,
that's not true.
And then by the time
That's not true. I've been reading One Piece since Thriller Bark. That's not true. Reading Marineford week to week was a beautiful experience. Hell, reading Fisherman Island week to week wasn't bad. The only reason Dressrosa was painful week to week is because Oda spent so much time trying to get to Dofi that even if you read it in a binge, you still suffer through the amount of time you have to wait for Oda to get to Doflamingo. That is the only reason. That is the only reason. Whole Cake week to week was fine. That is a played out take. Some people like to, because you know, it's like some people's like, oh, I want to let it build up. And then some people are like, yo, I love the week to week series. Like, remember how, here's a good example. Remember how they released all of JoJo Part 6 in bunches in Netflix? Do you see how people crashed out over that? JoJo's in volumes, but everyone crashed out when Netflix released released a ton of JoJo's immediately on Netflix. Just half of it. Everyone crashed out. But then they go ahead and release it week to week. All of a sudden we're okay because Netflix understood. Netflix thought everybody wants to binge. No, nigga. Not with a new series. No, I don't. That was crazy. You ruined it. Here's one thing that people don't understand about the week to read. It is the anticipation. It is the theories. It is the spoilers. That is part of the week to week experience. You cannot say, this is what people don't understand about the One Piece community. One of the biggest things about the One Piece community is the dead space between week to week. It's the discussions, it's the debate, it's the theories. To say that One Piece is meant to be read week to week while completely dismissing the community itself, that's not how it works. That's not true. There's more room for discussion when it comes out week to week. It lets the content sit and lets it simmer. When you binge, I'd argue you understand the story less in a binge. You understand the story more week to week. Why do you want to control my enjoyment so much? You're free to watch it weekly. Oh, you talking about Netflix? Oh, yep, you're crashing out over Netflix. I understand it. That's fine. This like, I just don't understand. You understand the story more from a week to week binge than you do from a week to week reading than you do a binge, because in a binge it all becomes a blur. Unless you're making content on it, reading everything all at once, your memory's not going to retain everything that you're reading because you're speed reading through things. But when you read it week to week, you have time to sit on the chapter, think about it, talk about it, watch some theory videos. I don't know, man. I don't know. The community is toxic, though. Hey.
Ended up reaches, you then are meant to consume it as a whole thing. Oda makes his story like, it's like he builds up, and then at the end, it's like, okay, I went back and reread it, okay, I understand it. Or you're reading it for the first time all the way through. Yeah, it's amazing, because that is what Oda does. That is how I view Oda's stories, and that is why I do believe that when you go back and reread these arcs, like when I went and reread Wano, I sat back and I was like, wait, Wano was way better than I thought it was. Now, don't get me wrong, Wano has a lot of issues inside of it that I do think it does need to fix, but it was still great. Exact same thing with Egghead, but I feel like Egghead was kind of just, like, there wasn't really anything bad about Egghead. The Gorosei is the only thing that you can say is bad about Egghead, but aside from that, Egghead was really good. Now, as you guys have heard throughout the video, Agenda Piece was something that was meant to be more positive for the community, but over time, it's turned negative, and it's mainly due to people just viewing One Piece as a whole through the agenda lens. Yes, it's a fun way to view the story, but as we're all meant to know, at the end of the day, Agenda Piece is only what we do to soothe the breaks or just
casual racist, competitive racist.
Twitter, and I'm not on the Reddit too much. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not on the Reddit too much, but obviously I'm very active on Twitter when I can be. So when I'm seeing this and I'm like, okay, and I'm going back and I'm looking at every chapter, and I
need him. So he's making these statements, but he's not giving examples. That's what I want to say. I need some examples.
Seeing how people talk about certain chapters that don't have any fighting or any big reveals or anything, and it's like, oh, the chapter's mid. But then when you actually look at the chapter isn't bad. In fact, some chapters are actually really good, but people are saying it's boring. Like the Kuma flashback. People were saying the Kuma flashback was boring when it was dropping. Could you believe that? Genuinely, could you?
There were people that I've heard people say that, and normally the people that said that got stomped out. Because Kuma's flashback is the emotional anchor of the story and the lifeblood of the arc itself. I've actually seen people say that. Some people said that and they got stomped out. There's people that said that. There's definitely people that said that. I don't disagree with him on that. There's people that said that. But I don't think that's about it. I don't think Agenda Piece is the reason people said that. I think people just have bad takes. Voodoo was one of them. He's a Dragon fan.
Could you believe that? A lot of people are saying we're bored of the Kuma flashback. We want to go back to.
If you're a Dragon fan, what you like to enjoy is you like to enjoy a whole lot of nothing and a lot of unspoken narrative. That's what you do as a Dragon fan. But when you see things on screen, it's not good enough for you because you're used to your characters doing nothing but having narrative. That's it. But when you got actual content before you, Dragon fans can't handle it. They're not used to it. They can't handle it. They can't. That's why.
To the present time.
But I'm joking, by the way, before someone clips
One Piece through
somebody
this agenda lens,
will like, yo, he coming after you.
The greatness for what it is, and then they're shocked why people get mad at them when they rate a certain arc like Egghead a 7 or a 6 out of 10 when it is definitely not that. Things like this is where people are like, they need to just like click into gear and really understand that Agenda Piece is only a fraction of what it's meant to do. And yes, in the beginning, Agenda Piece did revive things, but as I've said multiple times now, it has slowly started to decay and eat away at this fandom that I don't think the fandom actually realize. There's two halves of it. Either there are some people that think that Agenda Piece is negative and it's always been negative, but then there are some people that believe that Agenda Piece is positive and will always be positive for the community. And my stance on it is Agenda Piece can be positive and it can also be negative. It just depends on how you view the story and how you just not view the story, but how you use Agenda Piece as a whole. The video isn't me sitting down to bash on Agenda Piece. In fact, Agenda Piece has had a bit of an impact on my channel, so it's something that I can sit down and be like, okay, like I love the art of Agenda. And in fact, if you go back and you rewatch my old Agenda Piece videos, and I may even just upload like a long Agenda Piece video, like where all my old videos are put together into one, you will see and understand that my whole view on Agenda Piece was it being fun. I say that, and a lot of people that have been in Agenda Piece or just like have been seeing it since its infancy stages will agree to that. It's something fun. You're not meant to take it seriously at all. You say it on the timeline for easy clicks, and a lot of things like with Twitter timelines and obviously Reddit. I don't go on Reddit, so I don't know how it is over there. Obviously, I may take a look one day. I'm not somebody that's gonna be active on Reddit because I just don't like going on Reddit. But for Twitter, I can say that when something drops inside the story, people want to get those likes. It's like a dopamine rush for these people. So it's like, when you post something, you may make a stupid remark. I've done it plenty of times in the past. I'm not going to say it like I'm a saint. I'm no saint. So it's like when these things happen and like people then twist.
I just realized the fandom started saying Zoro had more endurance than Luffy, taking his pain like Luffy. You niggas, come let's gather around and pray for your dumb asses.
And like people then twist it certain ways, and then people genuinely believe that because some people genuinely want the story to go in their favor or how they view the story. So they'll say something on the timeline. Obviously, it may get a lot of clicks or whatever, may get a lot of likes, a lot of retweets, whatever, and then they'll continue that sort of trajectory and how they view the story. I can talk about Agenda Piece for a long period of time, and so if you guys really want me to split up into another segment, I can talk about how Oda himself has technically fed into Agenda Piece.
Oh, Koso's in the chat.
Really mention in this video.
Koso, I got some things to say about this video, man.
It comes down
I got
to
some
him
things.
doing his power scaling or him just saying things. So when people can like stretch like certain things that he does say or does do inside the story, people can twist it another way, and that's how agendas can be born. There are many other things that I can cover as well, but I really just wanted to focus on the how Agenda Piece was spawned and just how like it's just morphed into something that I feel like over time, if it continues down this route, I really do think it can ruin the community's perception on One Piece, because the fact that a lot of people are saying that One Piece is falling off or just making these stupid remarks because Agenda Piece right now isn't being fueled. Remember, when Agenda Piece first spawned, it had the whole entire story plus one on the new content that was coming out to feed off of. Nowadays, it only has the content that comes out per week. So you solely read One Piece for Agenda Piece, what's going to happen is you're not going to really like the chapter and you're going to be, oh, it's mid or whatever, because it's not soothing that itch. That is why I feel like Agenda Piece slowly is eating away at this fandom. A lot of the fandom just like it because it's like, oh, it's something that we can joke about and whatnot. But yeah, at the end of the day, One Piece is just still a manga that it's not really meant to feed into our delusions. At the end of the day, all of our delusions, if not 90% of it, will be chipped away by Oda himself. It's like people don't really understand that like Agenda Piece as a whole is just a joke, and this joke should not affect how you view the story. And that is why
So here's my concern with this take that a lot of people have. My main issue with this video is that you are missing 8 years of history of the One Piece community. You're missing 8 years of history with this One Piece community because you believe, because people criticize Egghead and think Egghead is bad, and because Agenda Piece is a new thing in the community, you believe it's because of Agenda Piece that people don't like Egghead, when that's not the truth. Because if you look at, I would say, and for most people that understand, for most people that were in the community during Whole Cake Island, Recon, I know you was there. There is no more controversial arc in the entire story between the community than Whole Cake Island. Whole Cake Island was literally 50-50. Whole Cake Island is the most 50-50 split story in the entire community. I mean, you look at the streams, you look at the theories, you look at the agendas, you look at the anger, Sanji baking the cake, Sanji not getting a fight, whether the Sanji stuff was good, whether Big Mom actually was knocked out or not, whether Sanji beat Big Mom or not, whether Luffy actually beat Katakuri or not, whether Katakuri actually folded or not. Sanji kicking Luffy, you had everything that you have in the community now was in Whole Cake Island, but it was 10 times worse, and we recovered from that. But because you guys only started One Piece in Wano, you did not see the vitriol that was Whole Cake Island. You guys did not experience the community that was completely fractured because of Luffy versus Katakuri. To this day, there is not a more controversial fight in the entire community than Luffy versus Katakuri. All the controversy that you see in Wano pales in comparison to Luffy versus Katakuri. And that was years ago. That was years before Wano. Nothing in this community can ever match what we went through in Whole Cake Island. But then you got niggas coming up here talking about the community's ruined because of Agenda Peace. You niggas would not survive in Whole Cake Island. You'd crash out. You wouldn't survive. You wouldn't make it. You wouldn't make it. You wouldn't. Roger's in here. Roger, you know. Bobbin the Fixer, Vito, Capone, Sanji, the Whole Cake. Bro, people were cussing out Sanji because they said, oh my God, Zoro's gonna find out Luffy kicked Sanji and they gonna kick him off the crew. So he's gotta apologize to Luffy. My only problem is that we spend so much time joining the community and making entire judgments because Agenda Peace is new that we think the community discourse is ruined. I'm telling you, I swear, I beg of you, if we can just find some streams to give the new One Piece fans so they can see what Whole Cake Island look like. Oh my God. I'm telling you, there's gonna be a day. Roger, we have to do it. Roger, Recon, we have to do it. We gotta give them a history lesson. We gotta take them through. We got to make a big consolidated video on the One Piece community. We have to do it because it's like some people are shocked that the One Piece community is toxic. And it drives me crazy because I've been in this community since Dressrosa. And they think this is toxic. They think this is toxic. This is baby shit compared to Whole Cake. Oh my God, this is baby shit. Niggas thought the Kuma backstory was bad? Oh my God, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know what real toxicity is. That's what I'm starting to understand. That's what it is. I think, you know what it is? That's what I think it is. Y'all don't know what real toxicity is. That's what it is. This is, bro, I'm telling you, this is the softest era of One Piece toxicity I've ever seen. Bro, Admirals versus Yonkos was a violent debate. Sanji versus Zoro was a violent debate. People thought Whole Cake, bro, the way people attacked Sanji's character and the arc dedicated to Sanji would be one of the most shocking things you've ever seen in your life. You wouldn't be able to handle it. You'd be shocked. You'd be genuinely shocked. You wouldn't, bro, I'm telling you, you wouldn't be able to take it. And I understand the take of this video. My only concern with it is that you can't make an opinion, an assertion about the community without understanding its history, because you're making assertions that the community is more toxic or has become toxic because of Agenda Peace. When the community, what you explained is what the community has always done. It's just that Agenda Peace is a new twist to what the community has always done. Because we had memes. Yo, call Kosu. I'm open. Kosu, if you want to pull up to a VC and we can chat about it, I'm open to it because I'm watching your video. So I'm going to give you a chance to explain yourself. I'm not just going to sit there and yell at you. That's not fair. That's not fair. So I'm with it. No, I'm with it. I'm 100%. Yeah, I'm 100% with it. Drag him into the champagne lane if he can speak in there. I don't know. Or like, can he get into the champagne lane? All right, hold on. Y'all gonna hear some BBL. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I got. Okay, good. Let's get him in here. Let's have a dialogue. The internet was a different beast than Marineford. Bro, you know what we should do, Roger? We should bring Randy back and we need to show them the forums of when Pell exploded. Oh boy. When Pell exploded, boy, I'm telling you. Believing pudding. Oh my God. Pudding being 16. So basically, whenever I join a Discord, I have a sound that says BBL Drizzy. That's what that is. I just don't want to get copyright struck. That's all. Just look at other animes. Agenda Peace is not the problem. You got to find some archived off, bro. I'm telling you. Shake that BBL. Yeah. Thriller Bark. The old days of Arlong Park forums, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm telling y'all, it's crazy. Jay, I wasn't there. Oh, I completely understand. I know you weren't there. I know. Is Pell surviving? Yo, the worst thing ever. Oh my God. These new kids don't know. I mean, hey, they don't know, man. They don't know. I think I can pull them in. Are you able to hear me? Yeah. What's up, man? How's it going?
All right. Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm watching this video and I'm just, I'm just a little shocked. I'm a little shocked. I ain't gonna lie, man.
All right, okay. Let me explain myself fully, because obviously when you're making a video, you want to get your point across like as straightforward as possible. But since we're in a call, I'm able to obviously sit down with you and be able to talk about it. So
Of course.
My view of like agenda piece and everything is like, where you're saying like, I think it's too toxic. I don't think it's too toxic. My whole view is that I'm seeing new people come into the fandom and they're saying, oh, agenda piece is ruining it for me. And I'm saying we shouldn't take it to that level, because some people get too dragged into it. So it's like, that's why the video was more on me saying, is it ruining the fandom for new fans? So people are coming in and they're like, oh, I'm seeing this right in front of my face. I'm seeing agenda piece. I'm seeing this, that, and the third. And then I'm like, I don't know if I like this. Because I know that every anime community, because before I was in the One Piece community, I was in the Naruto community. And so I get how these jokes and whatever can come about. So I'm like, okay, when I came to the One Piece community, I saw the jokes already floating about. And then I'm hearing people talk about Whole Cake Island, because that was one of the first things I heard. When you talked about Whole Cake Island with the wedding cake, I say that in my Sanji agenda video. I say when that was going on, I wasn't there. I can't say myself, obviously, what was going on. But other people have told me that when it was going on, it was hell. So
bro, hell, absolute hell.
Yeah. So that's another reason. Like, I think this is good for me to have this talk with you, because obviously I haven't been there, so I won't know exactly what was going on. So if you could give me like an idea into what it was like in Dressrosa, because I do know that Dressrosa was very slow paced. I know you guys were probably complaining about a few things there as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we definitely were. So what is it? So you want me to explain the week to week experience of Dressrosa, or what the community was like in Dressrosa?
Both.
So Dressrosa was where I really started watching One Piece YouTubers. And the main gripe with One Piece in Dressrosa was the amount of time it took for us to get from Luffy to Doflamingo, right? Because then you had the Dofi clone, you had Abdullah and Jeet, you had Luffy trying to climb up the mountain. The way it was paced is like you would have a whole chapter of Luffy running around with Abdullah and Jeet, only for him to run into a little cave. He runs into Dofi and you realize he's a Dofi clone. Then there was Luffy versus Bellamy. And then there was Luffy going all the way top, getting knocked down by Diamante, flying back down to the bottom, and then rushing all the way back up, while we're seeing all the other people who are going to become the future Straw Hat Fleet. They're all fighting their other battles. You're seeing Lao G fight, and you're seeing Mach Vice and Hiruden. And the buildup, if somebody in the chat can let me know how long it took for Luffy to actually get to Doflamingo from that time, it was insanity. It was crazy. And then by the time we got to Luffy versus Dofi, Luffy had to fight his clone again. Then we have the Long Curl Zone flashback. Then we get back. Then it's Law versus Luffy. Then it's Law Luffy versus Dofi. Then we get Luffy versus Dofi. So the biggest complaint week to week was pacing. That's really what it was. So when
I can get that. I can get that.
Yes. So when we get to like week to week discussions of like whether One Piece is better to read in a binge or not, it's like pacing. Pacing was the biggest issue. And then when you get to the birdcage, you got another pacing issue, right? The whole Gat screaming with everyone pushing the birdcage. We're having like we're having like a couple of chapters of everyone screaming and pushing the birdcage. They said it took 30 to 40 chapters from the start of the big event from Luffy to get to Dofi was 30 to 40 chapters. Even in a binge, that's insanity.
Wasn't Oda taking a lot of breaks back then? Because I remember there's a stint during that time where he was like off, If I may be wrong, but I know during that time he did take a couple breaks.
Was Oda taking breaks at the time? Because I know Oda used to take 1 or 2 week breaks, but Oda never took big breaks back then. It was rare for Oda. The big breaks for Oda only really started near Wano.
Right,
And like just before Wano. Those are when Oda actually started taking breaks. Because before we were worried he wasn't taking breaks. And then he got hospitalized and then they begged him to take breaks. So like this is literally Oda not taking a break. Because there was a break between so when he made the Gear 4 reveal, Oda would take a break and then we go to Gear 4. So he only ever took 1 chapter breaks. Now we have Oda taking month breaks, 2-week breaks, things like that, right? The Gear 4 break was toxic. Like he said Gear 4 and then went on break. Like he used to do that religiously.
I can imagine that. Yeah. All right. So I understand that, right? I also want to add on. I know I did explain that a little bit, but my whole thing on the video, it wasn't to bash Agenda Piece. As I said, I don't want to bash it because obviously I love it. Obviously we're making jokes or whatever, but my whole thing was, as I said, I don't want it to ruin the perception of how people view the story. Now I know people are obviously going to talk week to week and be like, oh yeah, I don't like this arc because of the pacing. I don't like how slow it is week to week and whatnot. Obviously, I know that. But then, as I said, I shifted on to JJK. I don't know if you've gone to that point in the video. I might have covered it a little bit earlier on in the video. I talked about JJK.
Yeah, I saw the JJK. We were almost done with the video. I think I just had one last chapter. Your last chapter is the only thing I left in the video.
Right, yeah. Because obviously I talk about leaks, fueling Agenda Piece. You obviously have Oda himself. Because as you just said, Oda would say something, then go on break.
Yep.
But then you also have Oda making statements with certain characters, but then when they show up on screen, they're doing a different thing. Like with Sabo. Sabo is the perfect example of Oda saying something, creating a massive agenda in the community, and then when it comes down to it, it's something totally different.
Right.
So that is what I was more focusing on. I think I can get where you're coming at, where it's like, I'm coming at it from a new angle. I'm coming at it when I say Agenda Piece was probably like, basically, I wouldn't say, was it reaching its peak like near end of Wano? Would you say in your opinion?
So Agenda Piece was around, ZKK was like the first stint of Agenda Piece, because there's a difference between Agenda and Agenda Piece. Agenda Piece is the comedic side of the agendas, but Agenda itself is really just somebody pushing pushing a narrative that they will believe to happen, not having that much substantial evidence, but believing that's going to happen and pushing it. Like, for example, ZKK, there was like, what was it, chat? Like a 50-page dossier of connections about ZKK happening. So what happened is ZKK became something that somebody memed. So I don't know if you, earlier on in Twitter, right? This is where Agenda Piece kind of started, but the term wasn't coined. When I was a smaller creator, it was ZKK versus SP0 because it was Zoro versus Sanji fans, right? That was Agenda at the time, right? Everybody felt Sanji was weaker than Zoro. He was a worse character, all that stuff. The argument was Sanji's a better character, Zoro is stronger. That was the agenda. That was the beef. So now we're at a point in time where ZKK hits Wano, and we're at a degree where people are memeing ZKK and memeing everything Zoro does. Like when a Pooh cut Zoro fans were on death. They were on death row. Like everybody was coming after them. Everybody was making memes. Yeah. Go ahead.
I actually heard about that because my friend, he came to me about ZKK before I was even at Wano. So he was reading as well. He said he's been reading since like Zoe. So that's where I got most of my information from the community. So he told me dribs and drabs, and that's when I heard ZKK for the first time. And so at that point in time, I was more on TikTok. So I heard about ZKK, and I think I was at Zoe, Dressrosa, somewhere like that. And so I hear about it, I'm like, okay, whatever. Then when I get to Wano, I really understand what ZKK was. I was like, wait, you mean to tell me a guy made like a whole document over this, that, and the third?
Yes.
And that's when I was like, okay. So what I heard, right, was that it was a joke. Like some people said it was a joke at first, and then it became something serious. It's what I heard at least.
It was a joke, but then people did their research and they were looking at old cover stories. It got so bad. You had niggas looking at a bowl that Zoro was eating out of in a cover story that had a dragon on it. So it's like we're getting to that degree where it's like it's literally just agenda. That is pure agenda. Where agenda piece comes in is the memes, right? And someone said it perfectly in the chat, right? Because like you mentioned, like, oh, Jay's the pioneer of agenda piece. The reason that came about is because in chapter 1079, my hatred for Kid had reached a maximum.
Oh yeah,
right.
I was in that stream. Yeah. I was in that stream. Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally my most popular reaction. I've never seen a reaction video get 142K views. It's probably still going up, but it got to that point, and that's when I first made an agenda piece preview. That was the first agenda piece preview I ever did, and that was chapter 1079. That's when I basically turned agenda piece into a movement because I was making agenda piece previews. So now every time I start a reaction, it's last time on agenda piece, this rendition of agenda piece. That's kind of where it all started. That's where the JD Kuma thing was there. JD Kuma was a thing with the giant version of me and Kuma and the agenda piece Bible. That was before the Kid reaction. So it was still there.
Yeah.
Once I made that. Yeah.
You're going.
So once I made that, there was the Kid slander agenda, then there was the Shanks agenda. Then once we got into Egghead Island on Blackbeard Top 1, once we get to Egghead Island, then there was the Kizaru capitalist agenda. That's where big business Kizaru, that was huge, right? That all happened. And then, there's Pastor Kuma, and then there's the whole agenda piece meme of like me telling Oda I'm going to send a strongly worded email, and then he writes the Kuma backstory, and now everyone's angry at me, right? So like the whole premise of that was all humor. Like that's all about humor.
Yeah, of course.
We're making a joke, Dragon not doing anything, the triple dots, Vista, Dadan, like that's where it all comes from. What you're experiencing is an agenda piece. You're experiencing agenda. And the reason and that's where, and this is where, go ahead. Because I'm talking a lot. Go ahead.
So I think that's why I said I may have worded myself a little bit wrong in the video. Because I know that you was the one that basically coined it and said agenda piece, right? So before that, it was just agenda. I think I said that earlier in the video, but I may have like not worded it properly so everybody understood. But it was more of a thing where it's like, when we got to the end of Wano, you was there. You remember when Green Bull pulled up and then Shanks did like the film Red promo thing, right? And so everybody was clowning on that. I remember when we got the leaks for that. That was like crazy.
Yeah.
And then when we moved past that, obviously we had that like 2-month stint of where Oda was off, and then we were just left as a community and we started making like random jokes and whatnot. It was just going up and up and up. And then Egghead came around. Right. And more stuff kept coming out and stuff like that. Obviously, I was there. It wasn't named agenda piece, but it was agenda. Like everybody had their own agenda. Obviously, I'm a part of the Sanji agenda, so I will stick by that Dragon agenda as well. I'll stick by that. So,
of course.
Obviously, I get what you're saying because obviously I worded myself wrong there. That's my fault. Because obviously, if I worded myself a little bit better, then obviously it would have been a little bit different. But yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that. I think because when I reacted to the video, I was just gonna react to it because I liked how consistent you were with your content, and I liked the fact that you're picking interesting topics. So I really reacted to the video, one, to show you love, but if I didn't, I also wanted to see your take on agenda piece because this stream is because a lot of people mislabel agenda piece, and I wanted to see if you picked up on it, and you picked up on it very well in the early. I think you explained agenda piece perfectly. The only issue I have with the video is that the people that have opinions on Egghead being a bad arc, it's attributed to agenda piece because they're looking for memes to make, and you think because they're looking for memes to make that they're not truly engaging with the story. What those people are doing is that they're blaming boring chapters and boring chapters to them and saying it's not a good chapter. But that has nothing to do with agenda piece, right? Because there are boring chapters that we've made agenda out of. Like, for example, Dragon staring and making triple dots. That's not entertaining. It's just Dragon being a fraud like he always is. You can still make agenda piece memes from boring chapters. Like, I mean, the whole Saint Saturn meme, right? Like, I made a blatant error by saying he was my grandfather. Like, how, like, Throughout
Yeah,
the
I remember
entire
that, I remember
Kluma flashback, right? We're seeing how terrible Saturn is. So there's still memes and jokes to be made from the Kuma flashback. But if you say the Kuma flashback is bad, now you're not engaging with Agenda Piece. You're not even engaging with One Piece. You're just being nonsensical, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, other people have different opinions. So like, I think the crucial thing here that I wanted to convey, and I was conveying in my video, is that there are people in the community that you're going to run into. And this is why I was talking about like the history. It's like there are generally just some people that have takes that you physically cannot understand because they just are looking for something that's not going to be there. And that's why we go about whole cake, because there are people that say Sanji baking a cake is ridiculous and stupid because it's Sanji's arc and Sanji was supposed to have a fight. Sanji's a cook. He's obviously going to do cooking things, right? Huh?
Yeah. Because I've heard it today. I've heard, not today, but obviously I've heard it in recent times when I was talking to Whole Cake about like, to a few Zoro fans, yeah. They'll come and say, oh, but Sanji should have fought Big Mom, not bake a cake. And I was like, but Sanji's a cook. It's like, it makes more sense. He's a cook, so he would do that. But then people are like, no, he has to fight somebody. And I understand, yeah. I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, no, so, and that's it. So, and that's really what it is. So it's like, the reason this frustrates me, and I'm not saying you did this because you didn't. I'm saying the reason I'm passionate about this is because while Agenda Piece is something that I have branded and it is a main feature on my channel, what happens is when people take Agenda Piece and either misuse it or misrepresent it, then I get held solely accountable for it. When my channel has solely been for the memes and the jokes. Like that's really what it's supposed to be about, right? And you understand that. I'm not even saying you don't. I think you genuinely understand that. The danger is that there are people that will look, if they see something they don't like and they see a portion of the fan base, and you're going to get this in the One Piece community, whether you like it or not, that they're going to say, why are they like this? And then everyone's going to look for one thing that they can point to and blame it. Now, I know you're just making a video on a topic that's prevalent, so by all means, make the video. It was great. No problem with that. But I also have the right to address the community when multiple times I'm saying the reason, and this is why it kind of struck a nerve with me, is like, they're saying the reason Jay doesn't like Wano anymore and why he doesn't enjoy making One Piece content anymore is because Agenda Piece fried his brain.
Yeah, no, I've seen that on Twitter. I disagree with that because you wouldn't. Okay, if Agenda Piece really did fry your brain, you'd be saying way worse things. I don't think a lot of people understand what happens when people actually get, in quotation marks, fried by Agenda Piece. So
they don't get it.
They don't, because you see way worse. Like, even if you go on Twitter, as I said, I don't go on the Reddit, so I don't know what's going on the Reddit. But if you go on Twitter, you will see stupid takes every day. And so it's like, people say that, oh, your brain's fried because of Wano. And even I said, like, because you don't like Yamato, right? Because of what, like, I don't like Yamato either. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you like Yamato or not. But
no, I don't. I don't like Yamato.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't like Yamato either.
Like. Yeah.
So I understand where you come from with that. But then I saw somebody else talk about it and I was like, oh, he doesn't like it because Agenda Piece doesn't like them because Agenda Piece fried his brain. Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense because I can literally give you examples of what I don't like about Yamato without involving memes at all. So like, it's when I hear that, it's like you're trying to dumb me down into someone that's incapable of making an intelligent argument about why I don't like a character because I choose brain rot. And that's what you're saying. And it's like you're basically insulting my ability to make a comprehensive argument and saying I'm unintelligent as a result of that. And it's really, really sneaky, it's deceptive, and it's manipulative. And I don't like it because people get like, normally people try to do that when they're offended, right? And I've seen too many people do that when, and here's something as a content creator, and this is why I also wanted to support your video as well. I always respect people that continuously put out content the way you do, and you get good views, you make good thumbnails, and you have interesting topics. So I respect people like you that are trying to put their opinions out there in the first place. Because a lot of these people on Twitter, they're cowards. They're not capable of putting their content out there to be judged by a large general audience, and they prefer to stay they prefer to stay in their own echo chamber. Well, get out on the YouTube game. Put your thoughts out there and see how many people outside of your little bubble actually want to watch your videos. And then you let me know if you actually have a valid take or not. Because if you look at people like Grand Line Reviews, if you look at O'Hara, Rogers Base, Recon, right? People that are beloved. These people articulate their opinion of the story in a way that people resonate with. Hundreds of thousands of people resonate with the opinion and the research that they have done on a story. For you to discredit them because of your own pseudo-intellectual bullshit that you put on Twitter and an echo chamber full of people that barely think, that barely actually think about what it is you're trying to convey, I don't respect you.
Yeah, no,
I don't.
I have a massive problem with that as well. I've made like in the past like month, I've made a few tweets about that because a lot of people, especially when you become like a content creator, you do start to see people just regurgitate the exact same thing. And when you ask them, okay, what's the issue? They don't actually have a real issue.
They don't.
Oh, this person said that, so I believe that as well. I get that 100%. Yeah.
So it's a different ball game. It's a completely different ball game. And I can imagine with a lot of the videos that you've done, now that you're in the game, you know how much it takes for you to make a video, outline the video, script it, record it, and edit it, watch it crash out, and then do it all over again, over and over and over again for an extended period of time. So in order for you to reread the story, get a bunch of information, outline it, put out a video, hope it does well, and it doesn't do well, and then you have to do it again, to the point where you've done it so well that now people are literally absorbing your content because you formatted your opinion in a way that they can absorb and they can enjoy. That's when I'm gonna start respecting your opinion. But a lot of people on Twitter, they love to go after One Piece YouTubers saying they have brain dead takes. And I'm like, you don't know the research that they're doing. You don't know how much time how much thought they've put into it. Like, here's one of the things that's insane to me. If you understood the process of what it takes to actually outline a video, understand storytelling structure, frame it in points, do your research, find the panels, find the things, and then have it checked by other people as well. Because one thing you'll learn as a content creator is then you start looking for the other opinions of trusted friends as well. Who are you going to, Kosu, to judge your video? You're going to people whose opinions you actually trust. And then you have to put it out there for consumption. Then you get the respect of your peers. You put in the work, you hustle. So when I see people make these comments about One Piece YouTubers, I don't have time for it.
Yeah, I don't either.
And here's the best part. You're talking about thumbnails, right? People slander you. People will slander you for making clickbaity thumbnails or a clickbaity title. Whenever someone says that, I'm like, oh, you're not a content creator. You have no idea that no one's ever going to click on your video unless I grab you with the title or I grab you with the thumbnail.
And then, a lot of people really don't understand that.
They don't understand that. And then the content's got to be good. So I grab you with the title, I grab you with the thumbnail, and my content's ass. Guess what? I'm not going to grow anyway. So you got to get all three right before you even outline the video. And then you got to do it over and over and over and over and over again every single week.
And the thing is, you got
with no guarantee. Well. You got to be creative because it's an oversaturated. There's so many One Piece YouTubers. It's oversaturated. So you got to be creative. You have to separate yourself and you have to come up with a new opinion when there's millions of niggas on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, all coming up with the same opinions.
That's one thing you learn quick. If you don't be original, you don't have like your own way of approaching things, you just won't grow. You just won't get the attention you deserve, or you won't see things happen. A lot of people don't understand that. And it's like when people are like, oh yeah, I bet being a YouTuber is easy. I'm telling you, sit down to record. A lot of people think that the recording and everything's easy. Listen, sit down, record. You're trying to get your takes perfect. You're then doing all the writing in your script, the editing. If you remember the story wrong, so you have to go back and then reread it. A lot of people, and as I said in the video as well, a lot of people just read the story once and then they come with a take.
Yep.
We have to reread the story constantly. I have to reread certain sections of the story many times for a video. Like I've literally done a series where I reviewed like pre-time skip and post-time skip and I put up against each other.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand that when I'm doing that, I'm genuinely going back and rereading those arcs to make a video.
Yep.
And people don't really understand that when it comes down to what we do. And it's like they'll come with like all these takes like, oh, you're running out of ideas. I'm not really. we're just trying to spice it up. Like I tried to go down like a different route. Like I tried to branch out because obviously I don't want to be one lane with One Piece. I want to obviously branch out, and
Right.
I wanted to make like a Dragon Ball video or like a crossover video between My Hero and JJK. And then some guy in the comments was like, you're running out of ideas. I was like, what do you mean? If I show you my notes, I've literally got hundreds of ideas that I just sometimes I can't do because I like not yet. I don't want to pay for like commission yet. And then on top of that, I just have to then think of the ways you have to make thumbnails. Like if you make your own thumbnails, you then got to think of the different ways you can make thumbnails.
Yeah.
Like even that takes a lot of time and effort. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's why I low-key get like before I became like a YouTuber and whatever, I was kind of confused why people would crash out and be like, I don't get why you guys don't respect my content and whatnot. But after doing it, I really do understand you guys because it's like people shit on you for putting in hard work for them. Like we're putting it out so they can see, so they can have like a different take on the story, and then they're just like, nah, the video was bad, blah blah, and they even watch like 5 minutes of it. Like you go into the comment section, you see somebody make a complaint about something you address literally 5 minutes into the video.
Don't make me crash out. Kosa, don't make me crash out. Don't make me crash out, all right? Don't, Glam, Jacko, I know you in the chat. You heard what he just said, right? If that is not the story of my life, I made this Wano video, and literally people were like, oh, it sounds like somebody just crying and trying to change my opinion of Wano. You're trying to shit on people for people that like Wano. The first 10 seconds of my video, Kosu, literally says, I'm not here to change your opinion on Wano. If you like Wano, that's okay. The first 15 seconds literally says that. And I see 5 comments that say that. You have to understand, there's only going to be a certain point in time where you can see that comment before you crash out. And
exactly.
You only get better at not crashing out.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is, Kosu. You only just get better at dealing with it because it's not going to go away. It's not going to change. And you know what? People are not going to feel sympathy for you either.
Yeah,
and
they're not.
Fair enough. They're not going to feel sympathy for you because we signed up for this. So it's like, for me, I'm saying this now just because it's cathartic and you understand. People are going to be, I guarantee you, there's going to be at least 5 to 10 people in the comment section of the stream saying, what's this nigga complaining about? Oh, he's so whiny. Just make videos. Like it's gonna happen. It's there's 1 or 2 niggas in the chat already said that. To be honest with you, so like it's really I'm really just putting you on game. To be honest with you, like that's really you just gonna have to go through it.
Yeah, no,
you have to go.
When I saw that comment, like because I see it like a few times because obviously I like being interactive with my comments because I like making my fan base not a fan base like a family. So when I like going inside the comment section, I like liking people's comments, like people that watch my videos. I remember the people that watch my videos. I can say the names of people that watch my videos and that are there every video. And so when I'm then seeing an off person say, oh, why didn't you cover this? When I can literally give you the timestamp of when I say it. And you're always like, you always have to make yourself clear that it's my interpretation of what's going on. It's not, I'm not what I'm saying. It isn't facts. It's just my interpretation and my opinion of it.
Yeah.
And so when I learned that quick as well. I feel like Twitter was a massive help for that. Because when I went on there, I was like, okay, people like, I'm trying to give like an actual take here and people aren't taking me seriously. Then I was like, okay. Then when I got into like making videos and I saw people disagreeing with me and they just would say asinine, I'm like, okay, I get it. You just clicked on the video, you probably heard a few words and said, all right, no, I'm going out to the conversation, I'm start typing.
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, you should be like, okay, cool, whatever. Okay, if you want to say that, you want to say that. That's it. That's on you.
That's it. And that's just it. That's the, that is the cross you have to bear. And the good thing about it, Kosu, is the more you make these videos the more you find your own YouTube niche community, you all say the same things. We all go through it. No matter how big you are, no matter how small you are, you're going to keep going through it. That's it. You're just going to have to learn. Now, the benefit of it is that there's going to be more supporters of you, like everyone in the chat here. 99% of the people in the chat are supportive. They may not agree with everything we say, but they're here. They're supporting us. You know, we don't make content for the people that make those comments. You make content for the people that are in this chat right now supporting you, saying, yo, I don't agree with your opinions, but I'm here to watch you. I love your content. You know, the people that you make these videos for are the people that say, yo, your content helped me through a tough day. Because I'm sure there's a YouTuber that you can imagine where you're thinking, man, I'm having a shit day. And then you watch their video and like, man, that was great. I feel a little bit better. You know, that's really where the real benefit comes from, is making the videos for those content creators. Because imagine doing something that you spent all that time. Imagine you spent all that time making a video and you felt good about it. And then you see someone say, yo, this video helped me through a tough day. That's how someone relies on it. So it's like it's like a really good thing. So yeah, man, it's there's I think it's always healthy for content creators to have these moments where they can really vent and talk about this. Did I get bodega? I hope I didn't. Oh, I didn't. It's good for content creators to kind of have this moment and share the stress that they go through. Why are they saying there's bodega? I don't know. But I definitely gotta dip soon, but I want to get your final thoughts. How do you feel personally about One Piece, like the community itself, especially since you're a newer creator? How do you feel about being a One Piece content creator? Oh, I can't hear you. 1 second. Whoa. That's probably what they're talking about. 1 second. Give me 1 second. I can hear you. What the heck? Oh, all right. 1 second. Okay, I should be able to hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. All right. Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, your question was how I feel being a new creator. Or did I get it wrong?
No. Again? My question is like, how do you feel personally as a new creator?
All right, how I feel, I love it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I love it because people, it makes me like, I feel like every time I upload a video, it makes me push myself a little bit harder to make like a better video next time. So I love, obviously there are going to be negative comments everywhere. I'm not bothered about them. I love the people that come back. And one thing I will say about the One Piece community is that if they sat through all these chapters or whatnot, they're going to be nice supporters as well. So yeah, I just love it. I say, there isn't anything negative for me to say on it. Obviously, there are things in the background, but it's like, I'm not going to let it overshadow the good things that happen. So yeah, that's just my take on it. Okay.
So then, do you feel like you're going to stay in the One Piece community, or are you really trying to branch out and keep going?
I'm branching out. I obviously, One Piece isn't going to be my bread and butter, but I want to branch out because I love too many different animes for me to just stay on One Piece. So that's how I view it. As you can see, my PFP for YouTube is Deku. So My Hero is definitely a series I want to go into, and I don't see a lot of My Hero content creators outside of Plot Armor, and Vocal Pineapple. So I want to like get into that community. I want to get into obviously JJK. I know JJK is obviously dying out, not dying out, but it's like the manga's ended, so the momentum's there. It's not there anymore. But I want to just branch out. I want to do everything. I just say at the start of my videos all the time, whether it's One Piece, other anime, or just fiction in general, because I love reading comics like DC and Marvel and whatnot. I want to just get into it. I don't want to make people come. Okay, here's the best way for me to explain it. I want people to come back to my channel for me, if that makes sense. So people come back to see me cover the Avengers, or people come back to see me cover Jujutsu Kaisen or One Piece, or just all these different things. That's how I view it.
Right. So
yeah.
You, from what I saw from your channel, you're already doing multiple series in general. And some of your multiple other series already get views. You're already in a good spot, because that means the algorithm is recognizing your channel as a manga channel rather than a specific manga channel. So as far as I'm concerned, just the best thing you can do is keep making content until you get that one video, because that's normally how YouTube works. Once you find a wave, right, and a formula, you got to find the formula, right? And the big thing for me is like shorts blew up because a lot of people subscribed to my channel from shorts, and then a lot of my shorts led to my long form content. So it was more like I'm an entertainment channel. So it's why a lot of people wonders like Jay doesn't make theories, he doesn't do discussions. It's because that's not my lane. I'm an entertainer. That's what I do. So if you find entertainment comes with comedy. With comedy comes memes. With agenda piece and comedy, this always what was gonna be my track. Agenda piece is what I am as a YouTuber. If I make a theory video, you lose 60% of who I am. You lose 60% of why people watch my reactions. So once you find out what your lane is, which I think you're figuring that out right now, and that's really the journey as a YouTuber. Once you find that gimmick and you read the comments and people are like, yo, I love that you did this and I love that you always do that. Bro, ride that wave like you're a surfer on a tsunami and keep going. Just abuse it. That's it. YouTube is about gimmicks. No matter what people tell you, it's about gimmicks.
No, it's about gimmicks.
Find your gimmick, bro. Find your gimmick, bro. I'm telling you, the gimmick works. It works. Yeah, I'm telling you. And that's for everyone in the chat as well. I'm telling you, bro, you're going to be just fine.
No, thank you for that. Because, not to fanboy out, but you are one of my main inspirations for me starting the agenda piece stuff. Because my first video on my channel was the Admiral Agenda Explained. So it's like
I saw that, bro. I saw the little Sanji agenda video too. I said, all right, this man a little okay. He a soldier. He out here.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Of course, bro. Glad you were able to come on it. I'm glad I saw you in the chat. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna see it. I was gonna tag you in the video anyway, so people could go watch your video. But I'm glad you're actually here, man. So this has been great. This has been fun. These podcasts are only really supposed to be an hour, so it ended up being 2 hours. But great episode either way. Either way, and of course, I really just gave a lot of people on YouTube the game. So y'all, if y'all not gonna use this information, it ain't on me.
Hey, listen, I'll take it. Listen, I'll take it.
Go ahead, brother. But anyway, let me go ahead and wrap up this stream. But Kosu, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. You ended up being a podcast guest, so that's you just love how things work out sometimes, man. But yeah, good video. Definitely when we do that history of the One Piece community, man. If you thought it was bad now, brother, I'm telling you, Whole Cake Island was bad. Really bad.
I'll be there. I'll be in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm about to pop out of this call, read some super chats and end the stream. But thanks again, Kosu. Thanks for popping through.
No worries. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. Let me wrap up some of the super chats. Shout out to Kosu for pulling up. What have I missed? What was the last thing I read? Yeah, okay, I remember now. From King Ripzard, this is an hour ago. I think at your worst, you could argue Agenda gave people the only thing to rally behind, but as you said, power scaling theories, hell, even shipping like this for agenda purposes. Agreed. L super chatted, I'ma die pissed off at the Zoro backstory. That's crazy. Unrelated, Jolly Joe Star $5. Unrelated, it's crazy that you dominoed Vista being top 1 to the point. Ishitani put it in the fan letter. Hey man, listen, we got influence out here. We got influence. Ronald Big Dom with the $5. In my opinion, Wano made a lot of people look at One Piece in a not so great light. Some folks dropped it, others got more toxic, and you're just a scapegoat. Hey man, it's, you know, that's what happens when you put yourself out there. Blackbeard Central will take over the Shanks. Agreed. Zoro Top 1, you made agenda rats and reading the story through agenda. Some can't understand the story without it, then criticize others for not following the logic. I think you might be selling some people I think you might be selling people short, bro. Because they understood the story before they became rats. That's what I would say. They just became rats. Theories are home-cooked meals. Agenda is fast food. You can eat both, but there's more love. I like that analogy. Papusa Monkey with the $5. That is a great super chat. Yes, I can link his video in the chat. I can link his video in the chat if I still have the chat open. I hope I do. Hold on. I think I still have it. Yeah. That's the video in the chat, and I'll just put it in the stream, so it's fine. Yeah, go ahead and go ahead, drop some likes on the video, everybody. Those likes definitely help. Likes, sub, all that jazz. Been reading One Piece weekly since Skypiea. The community and his theories have always been toxic. Using the word agenda has not changed it. Agreed. Jay, I followed you since you reacted to more ZKK video. Never laughed so hard. Please keep doing whatever keeps you smiling. And that pure agenda food glee agenda piece over agenda. Appreciate you, K Maya. We got 50. I don't know what that currency is, but JD Chopper gonna apologize to Dragon. No, I'm not. Egghead is better than Wano. Agreed. Blame seasonal anime fans. Always hated One Piece. Agreed. $2. People confuse rereadability with the bingeability. Agreed. When I read a long novel, I don't read all 1,500 pages at once for the sake of the author wanting the book to be read in one sitting. The binge reading statement is really stupid and it pisses me off. Fair. Agenda piece created Cole's Church of Cat. True. To be fair, to be honest, if Cole started, to be honest, Cole and his Katakuri, Charles Barkley, that's early agenda piece before it was agenda piece. Tell that boy Kosu Korn says hi. Oh, I'm sorry, sees that now. And then lastly, from Code 1 XZ, JD, relax. We have video receipts of you liking the fact that Yamato blank was going to join until she wasn't. Then you switched up real quick. I want to see the evidence because I don't believe that, but we'll see. I think I had an agenda of Yamato being stronger than Zoro, so maybe there was that too. But you know, if you find the evidence, you can let me know. All right, guys. That is it for episode 8 of the Beyond Legend podcast. What a wild episode that was. Yeah, that was a wild episode. I ain't gonna lie. That's crazy. We had a lot. We had crash outs. We had a surprise guest. We kind of just had everything today. We kind of have everything. We kind of had everything. So that was great. So that is the end of this episode. Thank you everybody that pulled up. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to like Roger and Recon and Morge pulling up. That was crazy as well. So yeah, great episode, and I'll catch you guys later. Agenda piece report cards should be out tomorrow. It should be. So expect the video tomorrow, latest Thursday, and I will see you guys later. Until next